Hello and welcome to another horror review. I am not alone.
Oh.
Welcome, Dale, back. We're going to talk about some movies. You decided you wanted to get me into the Midsommar cult, didn't you?
I did.
I have avoided this movie. We were just talking offline there. Before we started, we're having a wee chat. But when this movie came out, I avoided it like the plague because, as per the internet, all the loonies get involved, and it's either it's the bestest thing ever or it's the worst thing and should never have been created. And it's like, calm down, people. It's a movie. Yes, we pick movies apart. We can like parts of it, like the whole thing, love it, hate it. But my God, see this whole thing and getting into camps and be like, no. It does my head in. Do you love that sort of stuff?
Not really, actually. Not usually. No, I'm not really into the cult horror genre. But this one was a little bit different. So,
yep. So this is made by A24. Yeah. So we've come to expect A24 go off the reservation a bit. They're kind of aiming towards the arty-farty crowd, the high thinkers, of which I am not. I'm just a big knuckle dragger that likes movies or doesn't like movies. I just call it how I see it. I'm not about being pretentious. But they seem to be trying to bring this appeal to that sort of crowd. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. It's like any sort of art. I wasn't too sure what they expected in this, but it was not horrible. I actually, for the most part, enjoyed this movie.
Good, yeah.
I don't say it's not the bestest thing ever because there's quite a lot of plot holes and they do beat you over the head with quite a few things, which we'll go into. But at the same time, the ones that are going, this is the most horrific, horrible movie ever, and why was it ever made? I don't get that either. What was it brought the extremes of this movie? I don't get it. Oh, have you frozen? Oh, you're
no. What was that, Colin?
So what was it brought the extreme reaction to this movie? Why did this become like a bickering point?
I think there's a lot of in your face sort of confronting material in it, I guess, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
There's a lot of confronting.
Love the film. Yep, people loved it. People hate it. I just don't get the whole why it has to be so antagonistic. Why can't people enjoy it? To me, this was a mix between The Hostel and The Wicker Man. It kind of mixed those two genres. Now, part of the problem with the movie is it couldn't quite decide what it wanted to be. Was it one or the other? And they kind of flip-flop between the two. Hopefully we're getting loads of people in the chat tonight. This is going to be a busy stream.
Yeah.
So we'll start off. We'll have Dani and what's his name? Christian.
And, yeah.
Let's be honest. Christian's in an abusive relationship because Dani is absolutely mental. Like, she's a scary person.
She is.
Like, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes. I have a problem with this current culture of sexualizing mental health problems because what people forget is if not recognized and treated properly, you can be a danger to yourself and a danger to others. And this whole idea of getting into like huddle groups and like being the cool thing, I find very disingenuous and dangerous. And this movie actually brings up, the four.
Yes.
I've encountered people like Dani.
Yeah. She was great
actress. Listen.
She's amazing.
Right, the cast in this and the acting is brilliant. I have to say.
Yeah.
I have watched, as you know, because you've been with me through some of them, a lot of wooden performances that just make you cringe. In fact, I've just started a series I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and I'm banging my head off the wall. I'm just like, oh my God, it's hurting my brain watching this thing. But we'll get into that tomorrow. So it's actually refreshing where people are invested in the characters. I have to admit, I felt at the start Christian is broken. He is gradually getting ground down by Dani, and you can see this. And he hasn't got the courage to tell her, and that's the whole premise of the start of the story. He hasn't actually got the courage to tell her he wants to end this and walk away because she's got her claws into him in deep, and these guys are, college are doing PhD. Their PhD students are at a crucial point in their lives where that's what they should be focusing on. But she is determined to drag this guy with him. She's got in them. It's not love. Let's be honest. There's nothing.
No.
This is not love. It's actually quite horrible to watch, though. This alone playing out is quite painful to watch, which kind of sets up the whole premise for this movie. It's
doesn't it? Majorly. Yeah.
What did you think of Dani and her relationship with her own family and the tragedy that kind of brings the plot along? How do you think that all played out? So with Dani and her sister and her parents and
what? I think that was a really good hook to start the movie on. Because it's very relatable to people. I think it's kind of where horror's going, is sort of those sorts of characters that can relate to, and everyone some so morbid and awful that when it was, I have to say that scene with the fire services going through the house, that was so artistically done. I just really, that could have gone south. I mean, it could have polarized the audience, but I think it was drawn into the drama of it, and it felt so real. And I think that those sorts of points in horrors are really good. This when okay, we'll get into the cinematography later. Oh, amazing cinematography,
done really well.
Isn't it? Especially in the first
that seems to be a
half of
standard with A24 movies. They really go into the cinematography and the setting and setting the scene. That seems to be a clamp. Their plot building seems to be
still watching, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a hook, and it's really good. And that scene is they're just going around the house and seeing mum and dad, and then the sister's pretty confronting. It's really confronting to have that sort of scene. But it was done really well.
Yeah,
it was done really well. The drama was very intense.
It wasn't done over the top, as in to get a shock value. It actually explains the character. It explains the family dynamic, and it actually explains Dani's character, because she's a part of this toxicity. It's obviously we don't know anything about the parents because they're only on and then they're dead, basically. But we see the two sisters. They both suffer from the same condition. They're trait neuroticism. They're narcissists. Throw bipolar into the mix as well. It's a real toxic mix. And the way she ended herself and her parents. By the way, this is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie, go away now, come back. But yeah, too late. Whoops. But, the way she killed herself, her parents got to die peacefully, but she could have done the same for herself. She could have taped up her own door, but the fact she made a mask, a spectacle, was showing that she was doing this for attention. This is her sort of final act, her swan song to leave. And that was actually, I thought that was actually important, because it could have been done just as shock value, but when you kind of see the scene being set up, this wasn't, this is actually done right. It was done for the purpose of showing why Dani the way she is, because now she has to one up her sister.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You can kind of see those cogs turning, that her sister got, her sister beat her because her sister got to do this, and her sister got the attention, and Dani didn't. So we'll see this play out. Christian's getting ready to leave her. This just happens at the right time.
Absolutely.
Left open to possible neglect her. Yeah, we know the family's toxic. You know, we don't see the parents play out in this. It wasn't spelt out, which I like. You know, I don't like everything spelt out. I like to be able to speculate.
Yeah.
But it definitely shows. I can't remember the sister's name. Doesn't matter anyway. But Dani's sister, you know what I mean. We see this now. The cogs are turning. She's been outstaged. Christian was going to leave, but now we see it. Is it a year later or 9 months later? I mean, quite a bit of time's passed.
Yeah.
After this happened, and she has used this to feed. Look, psychic vampire is a term used, you know, for this sort of person. She's used this to guilt him into staying with him, and she just continued to leech off him. And it's actually destroying his career because he can't think of his thesis. He's kind of not present in the moment. You see this guy broken down
with his freezing.
And then the trip.
Yeah,
but and the trip to Sweden comes up.
Even at the table, the scene at the table when he takes a phone call about Dani's family. You know, that's a set up, having all the boys there and them trying to go, oh, what are you still doing with her? It's been a year or whatever, and you're still. Yeah, I think that was a really good setup.
Yeah, even before.
That's natural. It's like that's what guys do, you know.
Yeah, but they've seen this play out because we've seen that happen the night the news broke. Oh, it's her again. You know, the minute she knows he's out and he's with his friends, she can't leave him alone. You know what I mean? There has to be some sort of manufactured drama. It's not pleasant. It's control.
It's boring on psychotic, definitely.
See, it's totally different. He was stringing her along. Well, it's something to
a little bit, yeah.
It's all about
you're right.
You know what I mean? It's not spelled out. That's the thing about the movie. It's not spelled out. That's why we have interpretations. Once again, I'm sick of the dum-dums on the internet. Best thing ever. You know what I mean? We can have a nuanced conversation without getting at each other's throats. You know, that's the whole point of art, that we can see things, but it's all about your lens and your perspective. If you've ever encountered someone who's manipulative and seen this sort of behavior or experienced it, it'll kind of view your lens of what you see going on.
Yes.
And this is someone who, you know, from what I see it, and that's agree or disagree. That's the whole point of this conversation, that he can't tell her to go because he knows she'll come at him tenfold. And even his friends know it, that he can't, you know, him get out. And I think that actually plays into the drug use, because the drug use is actually a coping mechanism for him to kind of numb himself from it. And because they're not fully, it's not like a stoner collective, because if it was a stoner collective, I'd be out, you know, I'd have checked out mentally.
Yeah.
Because I just think that's kind of cliche, but it's not. And the way they mention the drug use as well is his method of numbing himself to this so he can cope.
Yeah.
But you see him actually being degraded. He's from the scene that he knows what he wants to do, and they were talking about the trip. I'm not sure, you know, it's kind of played there nicely. Then the actual trip to Sweden, she appears and the atmosphere changes when she comes into the room.
Oh, absolutely.
It was done really well. And it's not just bro dudes, you know what I mean? Because if these are a bunch of bro dudes as well, which is what disappoints me later on in the movie, which we'll get to, but if these are a bunch of bro dudes, I'd have checked out and not cared.
Yeah.
But to set these guys up as reasonably well put together, they're young lads, but they're not, you know. Sorry?
Yeah, you get the comical guy in there, Mark, his name was, you know. I mean, that was a good set aside as well. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame about Mark when they actually arrive in Sweden, because we'll get that in a minute, because this is the bits that bug me about the movie. That's actually the disappointing part. But this whole setup of introducing the characters, they do it in a short period of time, and the fact that the atmosphere changes when they know what she's about and they've seen the effect they've had on her friend, and they're not your typical bro dudes. They're not, they're like, what I mean? That's what makes it more compelling and gives you sympathy for the characters.
Yeah, definitely.
And then when it comes to actually going to Sweden, Kristen's like, I've invited her, but she'll not say yes. He's almost pleased she's not going to say yes. She's not going to go, but I had to. And you can kind of see that turmoil because he knows what will happen.
Yeah.
And we'll see us in a couple of scenes. Like, she just has to give him a look.
Yeah.
And he starts squirming.
Yeah.
And he knows it's coming. No.
Down. Yeah.
It was actually really well done with her character. Like, she is horrible character. And that's cool as well. It's okay to portray that because that's horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Have, if we'll talk about equality and all that kind of stuff, you know what? You can have horror villains as women, and they can be really scary people because that's the joy of this franchise, which I keep talking about. The other franchises are at each other's throats and tearing themselves apart, but the reason horror's kept along is because we have room for all this and we play with it and it's fun to do and it doesn't take away from anything. So Dani's a really frightening character. It's just played really subtly.
Yeah.
What did you think of God, what do you call him? The actual Swedish guy?
Pelle?
Pelle, yeah.
The friend? Pelle, I think.
Yeah. What were your first impressions of him in the group?
I got the impression he was very zen. Because he's got the long hair and he's wearing the, not the shirt or what he's but I had a inkling, there was something wrong with him, I think. So I felt there was just something wrong with him. I don't know what it was, but I think he was a great character to push the story along. Yeah.
You got that kind of niggling, he's an odd duck. But it's important, obviously, in this story, the first impressions of him.
Definitely. He was a bit sus, dear, an oddball. Yeah. But he seemed like a nice guy, caring, but he was a bit too nice, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So,
there was that kind of, but he's harmless. You didn't get any sort of danger from him, did you?
No, not at all.
No,
that wasn't given away.
Do you know why some movies beat you over the head? This is the villain right there. Look.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there was no giveaway. Nah.
Unfortunately, the cable between the UK and New Zealand is quite long, so unfortunately, it's wobbling a bit. That's we're trying our best. But that's the
internet. Oh. Has it sorted itself out?
Yeah, I think it's just
I think
it's out of our hands. We're, we can do what we do, but I can hear you.
Sorry, Adam, I'm all the way up in little New Zealand, so not that great.
Yeah, the fact we can stretch a cable that far, do you know what I mean? Took 3 ships to get it wound across. The paper cups and the string, you know what I mean?
Hello.
Hiya.
Yeah.
But
probably
Pelle's character was really important. The first impressions of him just completely, innocent, and it kind of sucks us in. When would it arrive? Like, even though you've seen this movie before, and even though there's the premise, had you any inkling where this was going to go?
Hell no.
Even when they arrived in Sweden?
Not really. No. I think it was when they were walking through the archway when they went John. I think that's when I clicked that because I'd already read the obviously, but when I I think that archway and the flutes and all that, that's when it gave it away for me because I wasn't too sure what sort of cult sort of thing. So it was quite. I sort of went from real life to walk through the archway, and you're in a whole different universe, basically.
I suppose anyone that practices that much to get so in tune with wooden flutes, you know what I mean? You have to be a bit crazy. You know what I mean? It's all like tribal drums and stuff, but to get that in tune, you know what I mean? Concert pitch perfect. There's definitely something suspicious going on. And later on, they managed to bring just to jump a wee bit, but later on they managed to bring in silver trumpets. And I'm like, where did they get the silver trumpets from? Like pitch perfect silver trumpets. I'm like, what? We don't see them, but that's what they're playing. You know what I mean? You can't mistake those bad boys. I just thought it was funny. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of it was, yeah. Because we haven't even gone over the tripping out scene yet.
But yeah, they all arrive. The boys think they're going partying, you know, through Stockholm and that, but they're actually going way out in the sticks. So they hadn't really done it, you know. Americans, you know, I mean, the world, what, outside my country? Oh, what? I'm confused. Sorry, folks. Love yous, really. But it was funny. Everything starts off. It's all hippy dippy. Let's all take some shrooms and trip out and land the fields with the sun and the stars. What did you think? You said that you got the first hint because this was supposed to be the celebration, and the actual serious ceremonies were supposed to take place the next day, but they go straight into an intense scene, don't they? Just the gathering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, intense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. It was quite theatrical, wasn't it? The whole sort of together and all the big hugs and, you know, the man hugs and I thought it was really well done. Actually, the introduction of the whole the communal fest. Because that's what I thought it was, just the festival. That's all it was, you know, a couple of day festival. First they said it's a week, and then all of a sudden it's 9 days. And I think what I liked the most was the fact that they only have a couple of hours of darkness over there, so the times and the days kind of mingle in together, so you're not really worried about the timeline because you kind of lose it, you know, which I found interesting because it kind of gave you some sort of, I don't know, no time concept. Maybe every day flowed into the rest plus or on mushrooms the whole entire bloody time they were there.
And then we see Dani's trip. She's she's on edge the whole way across the flight. And that's where the kind of misdirect was, because I actually thought initially this film was just going to be her losing it. You know what I mean? Because they were focusing a lot on her and everyone else is trying to get on, but she can't. Once again, because of the setup with her and her sister, she's got the cogs in her head that she must outstage. And that's what I had in my head from seeing it, that she was going to be the one to try and upstage or bring them out of it. You know what I mean? They're trying to take part in this. And I thought she was going to be the one to ruin it. We kind of see that starting to play out a bit at the start.
Definitely.
But it's actually a bit of a, you know, it's a bit of a misdirect because it kind of goes nowhere, and then she's gone off on her own journey, kind of losing her mind, and then she keeps bumping into people who keep bringing her, you know, almost bringing her back down, which is important for later on. But that first scene when they actually go into the commune itself, and it's supposed to be the celebration phase, so nothing serious is supposed to be happening. But that first gathering around that, was it Octagon or? The sort of stage was super intense. And I was like, hold on, how do we go from happy jovial to like super intense on the same day when it's supposed to be a celebration? That's what made me go, whoa, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And then this is the bit where the plot for me falls apart. Vapors annoy me at the best time. at the best time, because it took us decades to get smokers like to behave with some sort of civility, and then vaping happened, and it's like, oh, I can act like a dickhead again. But we see Mark just vaping away while, if you read the room, everyone's being super silent. He's just like, oh, I wanted to kill him. I wanted to jump through the screen and just strangle him there and then. Like, you arse. But this is where the movie fails. You know, this is part of where the movie fails in my side, because now they're trying to make these characters black and white. They've really done really well with the setup. They've got nuances.
Yeah.
You've got them humanized. Oh, thanks for turning
Absolutely,
up, Adam. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. I'll see you on Sunday anyway. Cheers, man. We're going to be talking about another movie on Sunday. Yeah. So they start off with these characters. They've got nuance. They've got depth to them, and then from that scene, they start trying to break them down. Like Mark straight away, just being disrespectful and vaping, and even when they sat at the dinner table, I mean, you just have to read the room. If you see people sitting and being quiet and not doing anything, well, you kind of look around and go, well, I'll do the same. And the fact that Pele isn't coaching them or setting them up made my alarm bells kind of, okay, this is what's going to happen next. Could you please be respectful, not eat the food or don't touch anything until the signal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been to formal dinners in my time, and there's always, I mean, there's that sort of ceremony about things. You know, I mean, the head of the table, you don't eat until they start eating, or you don't sit down until they sit down. And it's not, you know, it's easy. You just really, and for somebody bringing you into that, I don't understand why Pele's not coaching them, and that's a bit where it starts falling apart a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there's a few of those, but
yeah, it's like,
yeah, you're right.
They then set these characters up,
especially if you're going to something so big as the May Queen festival. You'd think that there'd be some sort of protocol, but no, he doesn't seem to guide them at all. But I think there's a reason why. I think because there's a lot of you bought right people, and you know how to choose them and stuff like that. So maybe he's already sussed them out that that they'll be okay. They'll abide by the rules. They're not they're pretty good fit for the festival. I think. Yeah, so look at it that way, I guess.
Well, maybe it's part of it. My whole theme about don't apologize for horror, and it seems like they have to now, before they can, because surprise, people are going to get killed. It is a horror movie. It's like, okay, have to, that's like, come on, first kill, let's go. But they now have to start dehumanizing these people so they can kill them, and that's that whole argument I have of this is somebody apologizing for a horror movie, because part of the thing is, okay, you've got great characters, they've got depth. That's the tragedy of when they get wiped out. You know what I mean? That's part of the experience. But when you start breaking it down, like straight away they have Mark acting like an absolute arse, and then they ramp it up, and it's almost like, okay, if you like him, we can't kill him, and that's where I start getting a bit annoyed with this movie, because they do it in turn with each of the characters, which Now, Dani, I was hoping she was going to get hit by a truck like within 20 minutes of this movie. But, so they did a good job of her. No. I was like, please plane door open and she gets sucked out and everyone else survives, or please get run over by the car, or please trip, fall off fall in the river. That was kind of my mindset with her. But they haven't done anything like that with the other characters. They were all likable until that moment of the first sort of, gathering, and it was super intense, and he's like puffing with his vape, and then at the dinner table they're being rude. We'll get introduced to the London couple, and they were okay for the most part.
Simon and Connie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they were okay for the most part. And then
they were characters.
that's that's fine. But then they start making so you kind of know Mark's going first. Let's be honest, because they're spelling it out. They're putting a big target on his head, going him, and that's what annoys me about the movie, because there was no need. We know what we're in for. We know we're watching a horror movie.
Yeah. But we don't know who's going to go first.
Yeah, but they're pointing at it, and he technically doesn't go first because we see the couple.
Well,
you know what I mean? And that flips out. Could they have spelt that out more? Could they have spelt that out more?
Right.
Well, these two, but it's all interspersed. You don't see a linear them arriving. It kind of jumps back and forth between them getting settled in and these ceremonies taking place, and then them going to their sleeping quarters. And this is where it gets a wee bit disjointed. And this is where A24, in my opinion, loses itself, because it's always trying to do something or try to reach a certain audience. I think it tries too hard. Where they've already set this up, the simple approach would be best. And maybe this is where people have their problems with this movie.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to hate it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm still invested.
Right. Yep. I think it's quite easy to say, well, cut an hour out of that movie and quite happily still enjoying the movie. I think the theatrical part of it was quite well done.
I didn't think this movie was too long, by the way, because this is a 2-hour movie.
2.5 hours.
I didn't feel
like it was.
I genuinely if I'm feeling fatigued during a movie, I'll tell you. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh God, get me out. But I was actually still going along with this, although there's flaws and I have to point them out. But still, I'm enjoying the movie. I'm along with the ride, and I'm not feeling fatigued, which was cool. I just a few wee bits, that they could have just tightened up, and not try so hard. Stop trying so hard. You've got a good thing here. If you overthink it, then that's where it kind of falls apart. But generally, the moving up and part of the ceremony, but then they start spelling out that they're not fitting in. They're kind of sticking out. They're fidgeting when they shouldn't be. Not, I know Americans don't have table manners, so it's, that's just them. They're like eating with their hands and, grubbing with their fries and shakes. That's what they're used to. Knives and forks are like anathema. Pretty Adam's going to just like get a wee dig in there. But yeah, they're already setting them up that these people stick out, which I don't think they needed to do. Just let them blend in, and they could have kept it going without ruining anything. But the cliff scene, then that's the next sort of major point, isn't it? Because at the dinner with the old couple, we've already been told, and once again, it's kind of spelled out that Jodie lived to your 76?
72, yeah.
72, sorry.
72.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight away, whoop. So they've already set you up. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
But still.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to go along for the ride, because they haven't. There's some movies do it so badly and you're cringing, but this is actually, you know what's coming and it's getting you ready for it. The whole ceremony at the dinner, it's all very solemn, and then they're on their seating chairs, they're getting carried.
Yep.
The cliffs, even you'd almost think they'd hewn it out of the rock for that specific purpose.
Exactly.
Like it was just.
Oh, yeah. I have to say, I had to look away. I had to look away again. During some of that, close my eyes.
No, I was there. That's like, yes. Round one. Let's go.
The cliff when he didn't die. Well, spoiler alert. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's spelled out. You know what I mean? This is not. There's no surprises here because I've already told you
No.
it's going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
and you're just watching it play out. But we're not here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not to shock us. It's to shock the group. It's not about us being shocked. We know it's coming, but it's to see the reaction of the group and then how it goes from peaceful to then breaking down. That was to me, the mechanism of it, and it works really well.
And Josh, actually, the black dude in there, he already knew there was that was going to happen, because he's doing this thesis on this whole, the Mayfair the May Queen Festival. So he already knows that they're going to jump off the cliff. So, I quite liked that he knew, and he was like telling, no, I'm not going to tell anyone. No, I'm not going to tell you guys. You guys can ask all you want. I'm not, because he knew what was going to happen. I thought
he was dialed in.
Really well.
Yep, and we saw that side of him, and to me, he was a potential recruit. I thought he was, but then they had to ruin his character too, which was annoying.
Yeah,
this is where it bugs me, because he's dialed in. He's got the right sort of mentality.
Yeah,
to fit it, gel with this group. And you kind of see that play out. We see the Londoners, they freak out as always, because Londoners are weak. This is the most pampered city on the planet, full of softies. It's because I'm from the harsh north, you know what I mean? I just have to pick on Southerners.
Now.
But yeah, those two immediately.
Yeah,
they're typical Londoners that just fell apart. That's. I laughed. I did laugh at them.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Dani in this gives an indication, because she kind of held it together quite well. She did the sort of for outrage and shock, but she was actually into it. There was a bit of a. She was doing it for shock value, but
yeah, definitely. She's not facing her grief, that she's quite she's distanced from what's happened, if you know what I mean, because she's still got her own internal struggles that's going on with a lot of her family, and her in a relationship with Christian. I think I think that's what's happened there. But yeah, you're right about the it's a shame when people do that with the characters. They kind of make you end up hating them. So it's like a yes, but it should be kind of the other way around. Like, we're so invested with the character that when they die, we get upset. I guess that's horror. is character assassinations, and everybody dies, sort of thing. I like the way that it was done one by one. I thought that was quite clever.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's a mixture between the Hostel, because it kind of brought that slasher vibe into it, but it's almost
not too bad.
It's like they had to apologize. It's like they had to apologize for bringing it in, and it's like, no, don't apologize.
Yeah.
Stop and own it, and enjoy it, and enjoy shocking people, because that was that scene was also like it was a barometer test, because it was funny when the leader of the group's like, yes, when it's my turn, I will be up there with a smile on my face, and they raised valid points, and that was really well done.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my concerns. I don't want to be sitting. I don't want to live to 90 if I'm going to spend 15 years completely incapacitated. I want to go with a heart attack. I just want to be like, done. Not even realize. It's also got myself in order.
The concept, right? The concept.
And it plays on that kind of fear. And that's
yes,
the
it
human
does.
condition.
Yeah, human condition. That's right.
What is death? How do we deal with it? These people are actually very pragmatic.
Yeah.
And in a sense, so what's wrong? It's the whole moral question. You're not told what to think about it. The question's posed, and then it's up to you to think what you take from it. So it's all about your own personal morality. Does this bore you, or can you see their side of it? What's your own relationship with death? That's what this kind of brings out. What's your personal relationship with death and the prospect of dying? And I enjoyed it.
Yep.
The next thing, though, when we start going back in the fallout and the couple, they want to leave. I didn't think that was done very well.
Yeah, some of it started to fall apart a bit. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
They could have quite easily had them both leave together, not making a fuss, but they made a whole drama out of it, him going first and only one, you know what I mean? To me, that was kind of overthought and overplayed.
Possibly, I see what you mean. We don't really get to see what happens with Connie. We see what happens with Simon, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did kill off quite a few people.
Yeah, it was just the way they went about it. They made it more of a drama and a scene than it needed to be. They could have easily, okay, we're fat enough, and then the whole pretense that everything's still fluffy and nice and you're a guest could have been maintained. But once you start going, oh, he's already left for the station, we're back in 90 minutes, and then it's your turn. Wow, that's where it kind of, oh no, don't, please, you're ruining it. Come on, we know what's coming, but don't like beat us over the head, like.
Pushy, yeah, absolutely.
And it's that kind of stuff that brings me out of this movie, and I can kind of see why people have complaints about it, because like, nah, come on, we know what's going on, but it just, you know, play it nice, play it subtle, because it would add to the shock at the end, where here it's kind of, you know, right, okay, we know what's happening, okay, fine.
Yep.
That kind of shock factor is gone.
Actually, that would have been done way better, like you said. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The feeling of this movie is they're apologizing for horror and they're overthinking things. And that's where that's why my whole thing is don't apologize. Don't. Just go there, because that's how you're going to have the best impact. If you feel guilty about your work, then you're not gonna have any impact with it, or you're not gonna be true to yourself. And
right, you have
flipping
overcome that.
Yeah, unless you're physically going out in the world to do harm in others, then never apologize for who you are. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel this movie's trying to do. Is like, oh, I made it on too far there. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. Let's make it a bit campy, so you know, soften the blow.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's where all the theatrical stuff comes in, I think. Yes.
Yeah. And then it kind of goes a bit slow, because they've kind of had that shock, and then it kind of slows down for the next portion of the movie.
Yeah.
And this is where Josh's character.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why did you have to do that? We see the ceremony with the bodies, and I was expecting Vikings, you know.
Yeah.
It was funny the way they've done this, because they've embraced modern technology to a point, because they've got mechanical devices and like barbecue grills and stuff. But I was expecting like a funeral pyre at the end, not just a flipping grate. Do you know what I mean? I thought that was a bit. And that was some engineering. So it kind of shows that they're aware of the modern world and choosing to step that bit outside it. You know, so I suppose it was clever in that sense, but just the fact they're so clinical about it. Okay, right, the ceremony bit's done. Right, we need to get these bodies done, cremated in the open. So efficient. Kids are involved. It's all out there.
Yeah.
And then we see Josh starting to act like an idiot.
Yep.
And just really overblown. And then we're seeing the drama between, because before the couple go, they have announced that they're engaged after being together for, was it 2.5 years? Christian accidentally says, "Oh, we've been together for 3.5." Oh, no, it's not. It's 3 years and 2 months and 22 days and 57 minutes. You're like, okay, psycho.
But full on.
And you can tell how much she's broken him, because he actually forgets her birthday, even knowing the reaction that she'd have for him forgetting her birthday, and you're like, nah, mate, you'd be too afraid to forget her birthday. This is where they're breaking down his character as well. It's like where to me, him being thoughtful and caring would have had more impact. That was going to make absolutely no difference.
Yeah, but that's right.
No, they have to break down his character. They have to break down Josh's character because they're next. You know what I mean? They're, that's the way it's going. And that's a shame.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah, it is. Because, there's really no really likable characters, I have to say. We end up just not liking any of the characters, and I don't know if that's a part of horror or that's just, I don't know, what do you think?
No, this is where the mixing of the two genres needs to be clever. There's Gabrielle says it was definitely a slasher movie, but there was slasher aspects brought in to a cult, Wicker Man type movie. But they crashed it in, they kind of smashed it in with a hammer instead of subtly weaving it in, and that's where it kind of goes wrong, because I don't think they quite knew how to meld the two aspects. So the formula for a slasher movie is goofy, dumb kids that are disposable and you don't care about. The point of a psychological cult, basis is that you care about the characters and you don't want them to get drawn in, or you're seeing the ones, who's going to join, who's not. You're looking at you need character depth to do that. And they've done all that work at the start, and then they start unpicking it, which is a very, very strange decision.
Well, it is. I mean, I'm not too sure if the writer had any idea of what they were doing there, or whether or not it was the production team or whatever. But I think I've seen one where all the characters like that are just completely ripped apart and broken down, and we end up hating all of them. It's just kind of bizarre. But
I think it's honestly just to apologize so you can kill them and not feel bad about it. It's like, but actually, this would be more powerful if you did feel bad about it. It would have more impact. Yeah. And it's where they kind of undo themselves and overthink it.
Yeah, that's where I'm wondering whether it was the writer or the producers that, because the writer, I don't think really do that.
Someone stuck their beak in, you know what I mean? The directors had a vision, but someone stuck their beak in. You can know somebody's interfered with this movie. This has had studio interference of some sort, because it's you can just see these bits are jarring in it, and it could be a lot smoother, and someone has interfered with this movie, and I think that's why it's so polarized when it first came out, people's reaction to it, because the two haven't. There was so much opportunity here for this to be. This could be a classic, you know what I mean? It could have been a classic of two genres melding together.
Yeah. I hear you.
Because then get Christian now announcing he's going to write his thesis on this commune after witness. That just comes out of nowhere. And God, who is it? The black fella.
Josh. Oh,
Josh.
God.
Who's the guy with the hair? Who's the guy with the hair then? Is that Ken or Kevin? I'm mixing the two names up. I'm terrible with names, as you well know.
The hair. Which one? There's Dani and Christian, and then today was the Swedish guy.
All right. No, there's the other Mark. Sorry, Mark.
Oh,
Mark's the one.
Face.
Mark's the one. Yeah, the one with that's vaping and being rude.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Josh is the one that's taking it all in. He's actually been studying this.
Yeah, that's the reason why they're in the first place.
Yeah,
because of Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark's kind of a tag along.
Yeah.
But they set him up once again. He wasn't that bad.
Fucking funny guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't that bad, but then they made him out because obviously they want you to hate him. Then they want you to hate Christian. So they set up that whole thing of him forgetting their birthday and then him announcing that he's going to write his thesis straight against Josh, who had already declared that this is the whole purpose of going here. And even the way he did it was a horrible way just to make you hate the character.
Of course, we're not going to like him after that, are we?
No, and that's what the movie's like. What are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
This could have, you're all doing all the work that you started.
For the evening, eh?
Yeah.
For the evening, perfect. If he had really got to like Christian,
Absolutely, it would have been a tragedy. Edward Woodward's character in The Wicker Man.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen
the police constable. Have you not?
No.
Don't watch the remake. We did a review on it. Don't watch the remake. Watch the original with Christopher Lee and Edward Woodward.
Awesome!
Brilliant movie.
Yeah, I might have watched it. I watched the original.
Watch the original. Don't watch the remake. The remake's nothing. It's Nicolas Cage just being batshit crazy, and I'll show you. I'll share the link to our review of it. It's but Edward Woodward's character in The Wicker Man, because this is what that draws parallel with. You are on board and you have hope for that character right to the very end of the movie.
That's right.
And that's so more impactful. That's why The Wicker Man is a classic and can be watched today. And even though it's an 80s film, you can still watch it today and get it. Where this, they have to break down the characters to make you hate them, to make it more palatable. And that's where, it's just a shame.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll have Mark acting like an absolute idiot for the next few scenes. We already know Dani's. I stopped caring about Dani's character, to be honest. I didn't like her from the start. She's kind of faffing about, but we're setting her up because Pele, approaches her, and it's not just sexual. There's something else going on. He's not just trying to make a move on her. We kind of, but I didn't really care much about her story arc, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, because basically all it is now she's found a new family. That's it.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
She's found people just as crazy as she is. That's she's the worst part of this movie, if I'm honest. It was an interesting character play, but no negativity to her actions, no consequences. She's just kind of bumbling through this movie. It's the other characters, and what makes this such a tragedy is the tearing down of the other characters who were actually quite decent. Because now we see Josh, because Christian's jumping in his work, he's losing his mind. And he's being disrespectful, and he's already set up. Can I take photographs? No. How does a phone stay charged that long? They've been in Sweden for about 3-4 days at this point. He's never off his phone. They've no chargers. And this thing's still going strong. Like, I'd love a phone like that.
You're right.
We know there's no internet. All right. We know there's no internet. That's been spelled out. It's... They could have just done that once and left it, but they do it about 3 times. Okay, there's no internet. We'll get it.
Yeah.
They're isolated. They're out in the sticks. Just leave it.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Sorry, I'm about to... No.
Oh, need to charge up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oops. Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah,
my computer was about to die.
All right, no, we don't want that because it's usually me. I got kicked out last time for some random reason. The joys of technology and the internet. But we're still good. But yeah, they start breaking down Josh's character as well for no reason. We'll get introduced to the oracle, the prophet. What is it? What do they call him? The seer.
Oh God. Yeah, the inbreed. Then the bringing the inbreed.
We purposely breed this person so that they will do mad scribblings in a book and we interpret it. That's like, okay, that's cult, mate. Cult. Just you're screaming, you're spelling it out for us. That character really had no. That character could have not been in this movie at all, and not made a difference.
No,
there's enough there.
No. Absolutely, I totally agree with. I think he was supposed to be some sort of shock factor that just didn't work.
It needed.
It didn't work. It didn't do anything. Hey.
We just watched 2 people jump off a cliff and get their heads caved in, and we now know it's a sinister cult and people are getting disappeared. We don't need any more shock. You know what I mean? there's plenty.
He was sitting on a cloud. He was sitting on a
Weird.
cloud.
That was really, really strange. Like, what the hell is this? The Dandelions or what? Or yeah,
Messed up.
it was a strange character to bring in. To me, it really didn't. Like, you're seeing these perfectly formed runic figures, and then these mad scribblings, and it's like, what are you doing? You know, makes no sense.
Yeah.
You have enough
What was the
leaders and
point?
oracles, or even they could have had the old couple that's their journey before they go, that they add to this book, and that could have been part of the ceremony. This guy just didn't make any sense.
No, didn't at all.
No.
No.
But the threw that in just to mess with you, and it's like, okay. And then Brett disfigured face. So what? That's not the worst thing going on here. Come on.
Yeah. Nah, come on. Yeah, exactly.
And they even brought up the question of inbreeding, because it's like, yeah, the breeding here is strictly controlled by the elders, but we have to invite people in from time to time. And that makes sense. So they're very, you know what I mean, the whole pragmatic that, yes, they're a cult, but they also understand they have to live in the real world and they have to thrive and survive, and they can't do this. That's enough. You know what I mean? There's a sinister aspect enough in this without beating you over the head, and that's what this keeps. It's like, it does so well, and it's like, smash. Oh, come on.
I hear.
I still haven't switched off, though. That's the good thing. So it's doing enough to keep me invested. Because there's movies that have done this even worse, and I've just been like, oh my God, you know, can't finish this.
Yeah.
Or what am I doing? And I've talked about a few of them, you know what I mean? There's movies that do this really badly, but thankfully there's enough skill in storytelling here, which is why I think there's another agency that's ruined this movie after it's been shot. But God, what do I have next? Right, then I have Mark. He, you know what I mean? He just has to go. Right, there's kids running about. Just think about this logically. Even as a bloke, okay, they'll have been shown where the latrines are, or their ablution areas. Do you know what I mean? These people are clean. They're not scrambling in the dirt. You know what I mean? You're not coming into like a Stonehenge filthy hippie commune. Have you ever seen them guys? They haven't seen a bath in like 20 years, or, you know, we've got idiots over here that, you know, live that sort of lifestyle, and they're disgusting. These people are clean, they're pristine. So ablutions are there, toilets, wash, you know what I mean? They're not, these are civilized people, for a better word. This is a civilized community, although sinister, but it's straight out there. So how does he all of a sudden go, oh, I need to go for a wee? And then straight out, there's kids running about, it's the middle of the thing, and he goes to the sacred tree. It's like, dude, could you have spelt this out even more? Right, we know he's getting killed. We know he's got to commit a transgression. But
he's a goner after.
You may as well paint a target on his back and put a big neon sign going, he's next, he's next.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that was and then the dinner scene where the other guy's just staring at him, you're like,
I know. Yeah.
And we know what the plot is at the end, so there's no need for the over theatrics. It's just this what just keeps making me out. And I couldn't help laughing, going, okay, right, I know what's happening.
It was funny. Yep. There's some comical bits in there,
Oh man. That was just... And sure enough, one of the village girls like, oh, come with me. Dun dun dun. You know what I mean?
Dun, dun, dun.
Behind the curtain of the pantomime theater. Wow. So these are the bits that take me out of the movie, because I was laughing. I was just going, oh my God. Like, but there's hope for me writing a screenplay yet. That's, you know what I mean? And this is the highfalutin A24's the highfalutin arty-farty high thinker crowd, and you're like, and you're doing that? Okay. All right, guys. Well done.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man,
had some very bad mixed reviews, that's for sure.
yeah, it's but you have to laugh at it. You do have to laugh because
Yeah.
it's just done so well. So well badly. I don't know
Yeah.
how to put that into terminology, but
Badly well. Yeah.
no, I mean, there's got to be a new term invented for how badly yet how well this is done because you know it's done badly.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But you keep
Oh, God.
watching.
Yeah, you keep watching.
Because you
Like,
want to know what's
oh my
happening.
God, what are they going to do next? And then we get Josh. And he's already, we know where it's going. Even when he gets into, oh my God, like, it couldn't even be that subtle.
Oh,
Even when he
God.
gets into bed for the night, he's still wearing a shoe. The camera zooms in that he's still wearing his shoes. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, really? What's going to happen next, I wonder?
Why is he going in with his shoes on?
Oh, dun,
He's
dun,
going to do
dun.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that
Everything's been placed so perfectly, you know. It's just like everything's been done, yeah.
I'll not
Too
laugh. Last night,
perfectly, I
Knives and
think.
Stitches. From this point, you know what I mean? From Mark going to pee in the bush, I'm just laughing. I'm just like in raptures for that. I'm like, for the majority of this movie. From here
Absolutely.
onwards. And I don't know if that's the right
I knew you'd
response.
funny.
Because
I knew you'd find it funny.
If those horror comedy, this has to be unintentional comedy for
Unintentional.
the next act of this movie because Mark's taking care of. Then we'll have Josh. Of course he sneaks out. Of course he goes to the temple. Of course he's going to take pictures of the book.
Yep, of course. And of course he's going to get caught.
Of course. Because he's flashing with his camera and he's like, but I lost it, honestly. This next scene, I'm on the floor. Like I nearly fell out of the chair watching it. He turns around and somebody has appeared behind. He's like, "Oh, Mark, we're not meant to be here. Really? No." And A24, they love giving you a portion of meat and two veg. Like, so let's wear the skin mask and no trousers. Sure, let's just have it all hanging out.
Oh my God.
They did that with men as well. They love just having it all hanging out there.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I'm just like, what the hell? I'm on the floor.
Slightly
Honestly,
uncomfortable.
I'm actually on the floor at this point. I'm just like, because of course we've got the prophet / oracle / inbred product. He's doing Leatherface impression.
Oh,
hanging out.
God.
For why, I have no idea. But I've lost
have
it.
no idea.
I've just lost it. I'm just like, tears were actually, what the hell?
Oh no, it was good.
Oh man.
It's a good laugh.
And sure enough. And the thing that annoyed me though, they used the sacred hammer for dispatching people at the end of their life as a blunt instrument. And I was like, dude, that's supposed to mean something in your community. What are you using it to off him for? You know, bopping the head. It's like, oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
You've got farming implements, you've got hammers, you've got all sorts of things. What are you using the actual? Is it because they spent money on the prop and they wanted to get their money's worth? I'm gone at this point, honestly. I'm laughing the rest of this movie because seriously, that whole scene was so ridiculous.
It was indeed.
And
they had to put something in there, didn't they? They had to put some slasher thing in there, go and ruin it all.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What was the excuse to give the next day? Oh, sorry, yes. Somebody's taken our book. If you apologize and give it back, nothing more will be said about it. Okay, and then they're very Mark and Josh have run off together with it. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I was like, aye, okay.
Yeah,
Aye.
and
Yeah, believe you.
that was that. Yeah.
Nothing more said. Okay, fine. Whatever. Okay. We got it back and they apologized and they've gone off to the other. Is nobody twigging on? Like, these people have about the situational awareness of goldfish.
Yeah,
Like, I know
absolutely.
Dani, I don't care about what she notices or not because she's in her own head and she's
she
on
is.
a different plane anyway, this entire movie. So her character, I'm not expecting her to find anything because she's already gone.
Yeah.
That's fine. But Christian, I had hope for Christian. I thought he might have twigged on. And they've got a bloody car.
There's a car.
There's a wee blue Fiat thing. They've got a car.
Yep.
They could get away
at
any point.
Yeah.
And to me, I'd be.
There was a dream sequence, wasn't there, where they actually all got in the car off.
That was
Danny behind.
That was Dani's. Yeah, that was Dani's dream sequence. But like I said, I don't care about her.
Yeah.
They do a lot of stuff for her, but I don't care because she's the worst character in this. She's the biggest evil. She's actually the only truly evil character, and that's in my opinion.
Yeah.
People can disagree with me or not, but you know, I've seen this sort of person in real life. We're seeing it with we're seeing it on the stage, like Hollywood. We're seeing these Dani type characters. They're evil people. They're not good for society or human interaction. They're what's wrong with the world today. So her character, I've no interest, sympathy, or care about, you know, but she's just tripping along this movie.
Yeah, basically she is. Yeah, everything goes
and I don't
on around her.
So now we're starting to we're down to two now. It's just Dani and Christian left, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And neither one of the two have
in the garden.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, that was well, I haven't got that, but why? When there was a set purpose.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean, for the end scene, but yeah, we'll plank him, or is it just his leg? I don't know. I kind of lost count at the end. I was trying to like tally everybody up at the end. And I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. But I'm just laughing at this point with the rest of this movie, just waiting for it to play out.
Yeah.
Then we see, and it could have been more obvious, sitting down to the pies, and of course those two start picking. Like nobody else is eating. There's a ceremony, and these two are just like, I'm like, oh my god, I'm just looking forward to their deaths because bad table manners really bugs me. It's a pet hate, you know. Bad table manners, I'm falling out with you. You know, just there's no call for it.
No.
I grew up in a working class background, and we were taught good table manners. Weren't rich, but you were taught the basics because if you can conduct yourself in your home, I was always taught you can conduct yourself in any company if you can sit at a table and eat with people and look around you, respect traditions. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be brought up with a silver spoon in your mouth to read the room and just be respectful. You can go anywhere, and that served me in my life. So
it's true.
It's a pet hate saying bad table manners, and these two are just. But of course, we've seen the tapestry beforehand. That was already spelled out.
Yes.
Of the love potion. You know what I mean? It was whoop, neon lights pointing at it. This is important later. Watch this.
Foreshadowing. Loads of it.
It's like the director he's playing with foreshadowing for the first time and just having a bit of fun with it.
He's doing it every second scene.
And of course he picks the pubic hair out of the pie and his drink's a different color from everyone else's, and we're like, I wonder. And then she's staring at him, the one with the ginger hair. She'd already signaled to him a couple of times she's interested. And Dani's completely oblivious to it. That's the funny thing. She is completely oblivious. the fact that, and I'm just like,
yeah, she's strange. Yeah,
you're neurotic, you're narcissistic, you're controlling, you're clingy, you're paranoid, and you're not picking up these vibes. And she sort of did at the very beginning, and then she just goes off on her trip. That's why you're not picking up on this. No, okay, right, fine, well, whatever.
Yeah,
and that's the sort of thing she'd be tuned in.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if it's the psychedelic that's made her so distant, or because there's going on in there, a lot of mushroom eating and drinking. So I think everybody's basically lost the plot.
Yeah, and but usually that enhances. You know, I mean, if you're neurotic and you're taking a substance, that's going to come out even worse. Especially psychedelics and mushrooms and stuff. You know what I mean? If you're in a bad place, that's going to go tenfold. But we don't see that. And the fact that this girl's basically waving a flag. I want you, the Christian. She may as well be holding up a banner. I love Christian.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly.
Dani is not picking up on any of this. It's like, okay, right, whatever. Right, you're...
Yeah. Yeah, until a little bit later.
And then it's a big shock to her. It's like, really, dude?
Really? How could you not have known? Are you blind?
But everything's kind of ramping up. God, we've been at this for over an hour. Yeah.
Jeez. It was a long movie.
Oh yeah. But we're seeing Dani getting brought in now. It's so obvious. They're okay. Come and help us out with the woman work, but it's, bringing her in, give her an apron. You're involved. Then we're seeing her, okay, once you get involved with us, the whole dancing against the beast, because that was the legend that the beast made the women dance until they die. Now they do it in defense, which is actually a cool ritual, The ritual side of things and the pragmatism of the commune was brilliantly done. It was just ruined with these dopey parts. Such a shame. But we see that point that she, I knew she was going to win. So that was kind of spelled out. It wasn't really a big shock there. But it was funny the way the red-haired girl dropped out early enough to, it was like it was almost staged, which I thought was clever.
Yeah,
she dropped out just enough.
Yeah, that's right.
To pull him off the side.
I found that dance scene really quite intense. It was well done. It was intense, and then it was slow.
Yeah, it was like a version of maypole dancing.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, with the ribbons and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because pagan culture is European wide. You know what I mean? And obviously the spread and the influences, and people don't understand how widely traveled, like within Europe, people were and took part of the cultures and that. So it's we can always find a connection between sort of paganism in the British Isles, but also other similar traditions, because obviously the Vikings, and they made that comment about the Vikings raiding, and taking. So Vikings would have visited the British Isles, so we've similar culture, sort of traditions. And they're still going on today, and you can kind of see that played out. It was just brilliantly done.
Absolutely.
And I was on board for that part of the movie. The bits of the ritual and seeing the actual functionality of the commune and their outlook in life and the rationale. That was all fascinating to me. Really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Good. Okay. That's well thought out.
But it's like this insert a couple of Americans is like derp, 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 derp. So they kind of blunder through everything, which just made it farcical,
Yeah, absolutely.
So things are starting to ramp up now, getting to the end that Dani's been made the Mayfair Queen. I genuinely thought that when she was put in the coach, I thought they were going to set fire to the coach. I thought that's what was going to happen.
Wow. Did you?
I did, but
I wasn't
too sure what plastic windows. because I know they set the temple up at the start. I knew that was going to be a focus, but I thought they were going to both get taken care of separately. And I genuinely thought, because they were carrying the burning torches, they were kind of playing that out. I thought she was going to, like, her blessing to the crops was going to be her getting burnt alive in the coach. And
that would be perfect.
I was kind of hoping it was going to happen, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's, wow, amazing.
It was just the way it was set up.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Because why else do you need burning torches during the day? I know they're symbolic, but, you know, I kind of thought that's what was going. But it did a wee bit of a sideways turn.
The teaser, yeah.
Yep. And we know when they're blessing the crops, the cornfields, that they're actually that's a slab of human flesh. We know that is getting put in there. Yeah. And, you know, with the offering of the eggs, which we find out the significance of the eggs later on.
Yes.
Because this is when, while Dani's off, this is happening to her. Obviously, they've given Christian psychedelics. They've brought him in to the ritual where he's going to basically impregnate. You know, they already mentioned this, that they need to bring in new people.
Yeah.
And again, which is fair enough. So this whole ceremony, he's out of his mind. You know what I mean? He has been drugged. He's been roofied, essentially.
Yeah.
Brought into this work. And that scene was quite intense. Like,
it was.
It was a sexual scene, but I personally got no sexual gratification from it, if that makes sense. Like,
no.
It wasn't your typical slasher, oh, boobies, you know, and I like boobies, but I'm not sitting there going, oh, you know, it wasn't that sort of scene played out. It was actually quite an intense, sinister scene.
Theatrical sort of thing, wasn't it? Yeah, very confronting, I think.
And no wonder they had to get, because that would, you know, anyone would get stage fright unless you're a porn star, you know, group of women all around you and cheering you on. When the woman starts slapping on the backside,
old woman.
I'm just like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
like
they do these silly things in this movie. You know what I mean? This is an intense movie, and then they do these dopey, daft things that just bring you out, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, where did it come from? Yeah.
Dude, oh man, I was all on board because we had to just let that play out and go on.
It
That would
was
have been a really
slightly
intense scene, but
yeah,
that scene at the end just made me. I'm just laughing again. I'm like, okay, and that's my frustration with this movie.
Yeah,
you're invested, then they do something silly, and you're straight back out again. And then they drag you back in, and then do something else silly. You're straight back out. Then we're saying that Dani's returning, and this is the big reveal because she hears all the singing, and of course she's like, "There's been singing and dancing going on. Why does she all of a sudden hone into this?"
Yeah,
and it's like that's not for you, but go and look anyway because that the plot needs to happen, sort of thing. And like,
exactly,
it was so contrived. But we'll have to hate Christian. We can't like Christian for what's going to happen next.
No.
So we'll have to hate him. So Dani has to see him finishing off. Dani has to have a breakdown. Dani needs to be, and this is where this is where she finds her rhythm, why she's a perfect sort of candidate, because that neuroticism, that, you know, she finally finds a group that'll indulge her.
Yeah, you're right.
And obviously they're indulging her for a reason. She's been, you know what I mean, the game's set here, which is what we'll find out sort of at the end. You know what I mean? They're playing the game. They're playing her like a fiddle. Like she is just a tool.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Mark then stumbles out, and that's where he starts discovering Josh's legs. Like that was really, once again, intense scene. This leg sticking up to the ground. Like, really? That's what you're doing? All I had to do was like put flour. If I had to put some flowers between his toes sticking up, or a little garland around it, it couldn't have been any more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just like, Come
like
on.
myself when I saw that foot. I was just like, oh my God, I have a body.
Yeah. Nice
Oh,
try. But the chicken coop was actually well done.
right.
And that
It
was
was.
that was the English guy, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was Simon with the flowers in his eyes.
Yep. And he was still alive.
And he was still alive.
Because the lungs were, you know what I mean, the lungs were breathing,
Yeah.
and then this significance of the eggs, because the eggs have sort of been blessed in this ritual. Because
Yeah.
this has been for a couple of days, you know, the chickens have been feeding off the, you know, chickens are evil creatures. They'll eat anything. They're cannibalistic as well. They eat each other. They just don't care. Everyone thinks chickens are like
God.
fluffy, but they're chucks. They'll eat anything. They'll eat each other. They'll eat you, given half a chance.
Oh God.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't know that. Yeah.
oh they're evil creatures, and even when they mate, they're nasty. They're nasty creatures. They're brutal to each other and everything else around them.
Wow. That goes to show how much I don't know about chickens.
Yeah. But that was a horrific scene after a ridiculous one. And then he's captured. And we've got the whole sort of ending. And this is where the game's been rigged, because basically the mayor for our queen, they talk about the 9 sacrifices, which is why I don't get them burying Josh in the garden, because the whole idea is that they're presented into the temple. But she's to pick the final one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
People are offering themselves up for the next 90 years. And then she has to pick between Christian or one of the villagers. But of course, we hate Christian now.
Yep.
Because we have to, because she has to pick him. The fact that she's an evil cow would have been enough, because she doesn't love this guy. She hates this guy. It's just he's a target, and she, you know what I mean? That's what these people do. They use people up until the no more. So that would have been enough. And her suspicion and hatred, you know what I mean, would have been enough to make her pick him, but they just had to spell it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So of course, oh yeah, we forgot to mention the bear, because they had the bear, and we know something's like a living bear.
The bear.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, earlier on about the bear. Don't worry about the bear. And
and of course the bear's flipping getting skinned and gutted to make
obviously
the beast
part of their ceremony. Yeah. Poor bear.
I don't know, that's on cover. I'm just never kill the dog. Don't sack bears, you arseholes. Flipping.
Yeah, exactly.
Do whatever you want to people. I don't care. I'll laugh along. But when you start doing it to animals,
yeah. No.
And of course, we'll finish up. It's a Wicker Man-esque sort of thing that they're offerings into the temple. He's the main thing. At least they were decent enough. They drugged him, and they had him completely immobilized and inured to pain. So there was a kindness there, as well, which might sound strange, but these people aren't being cruel.
Yes, part of the ceremony. Yeah, but then it didn't actually work, because the 2 villagers that were sacrificed were burnt alive, basically.
Yeah, but only one of them it wore off on. So 2 offer themselves up. They're sitting there, stoned out of their heads. Obviously, it wears off on one of them, and you hear the screaming, and then you see this whole. They're practiced in this mimicking emotions. That's why they're very manipulative, because they're taught from an early age that they can instantly mimic your emotion and be convincing with it. And that's sinister in itself.
Yes, isn't it?
I'd have liked Dani to be killed. I'm very disappointed she wasn't. But she's there, and you see that smile at the end. You're like, horrible, horrible creature. I mean, that's where it just finishes.
Yeah.
So, what did you think watching this again? Like you'd seen it the first time, you loved it. What did you think watching it again through a more analytical aisle? Did you get a different take on the movie?
I did, yeah. The first time around, I didn't notice much of the cinema play. This time around, it was. I was actually by it. The scene of driving in and they're upside down in the car and driving, those sorts of things. The transitions, when she's crying in the bathroom, then next to the airplane bathroom. So I noticed those sorts of transitions between things done really, really well. Yeah. But it didn't change my mind on the characters. So the characters still pretty much stayed the same. Yeah.
I don't think it's the character's fault or the actor's fault. They actually played their parts, and it was only the circumstances made us lose. And that's a big shame about this, because you had well-rounded, well-built characters, well acted. Like, there's no bad acting here.
Yeah.
Let's be clear on that.
No,
you know what I mean? Everyone's committed their roles. It's all very well done. It's the actual mechanism, the story plot mechanisms that ruin this movie and take you out of it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's such...
And it is a shame, isn't it? But I guess that's just the way they do things. I don't know, but the other thing I noticed was the synchronicity was for a whole entire movie. The synchronicity of all the people doing their chores, like the way they fold their washing, and I didn't really notice that the first time around, but the second time around with a more critical view of it, I noticed that it's a real hard job to get everybody so synchronized, and a lot of
it was brilliantly done.
Choreography. The choreography, I think, was great as well, but the cinematography in that was A+. Basically, I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
I'll not lie. You don't hate this community. Like, you don't feel horrified by this community, and that's where the movie misses its mark. You know what I mean? You're meant to feel horror at ever encountering this community, but you actually these guys aren't so bad. It's to me, Dani's character is the worst in this. She's horrible, evil, disgusting person, and the rest are just a bit dumb, but they weren't dumb at the start. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they went dumb, and they became disposable, which was such a shame. Each death could have been so impactful. Maybe not the two Londoners, because they were just they were just brought in as extras. They were disposable characters. Fair enough. But the main characters that were set up at the beginning of this movie, I thought were done with a service.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sad.
Which is a shame for so much work they went into this. It'd be interesting to know what the might be worth looking at maybe a director's interview. That's a problem with streaming, because you don't get the director's interviews, at least with physical media. You have the extras, and you can get a bit more in depth into the movie.
Yes, you're right.
And they don't seem to have that.
Yeah, I like to watch movies with the subtitles on, so I can see what the script is sort of done, and who the characters are, and watching, silent breath, everyone's quiet, all that sort of stuff coming into it. It was really, really artistically, it was top notch, but as for the characters, it was just a bit of a shame that fell through. Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Like I said, I enjoyed it. Just disappointed. There was potential there. I think was wasted. That's my kind of overall aspect. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't feel like it was time wasted watching it. It was just such a shame that these elements that actually could have made this a truly disturbing movie became comical. Yeah. Now, maybe
right.
to the normie, this is probably a horrific movie, but if you're a horror fan, you're kind of like going, because we've seen it 100 times and we've seen it done with more effect. So it was just a bit strange.
Yeah. A bit strange and cliche. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We've really went in depth. I'll go. This is like the sort of stuff Cameron and I do. When we go proper into movies, that's part of the fun. Just pick it apart and for good or bad, just
absolutely.
I get stuck in. But there you go, folks. There's our review. It's worth watching. I don't think it's worth getting into the debate. I don't think the debate that they had around this, or the hype, or the arguments they had about this movie are valid.
No.
It's not horrible. It's not the masterpiece either. It's this. It's its own thing. Yes, there's flaws, but there's more than enough good things for it to be enjoyable and worth your time. Not everything's binary. Not everything's black and white. Do you know what I mean? That's the whole point of art. There's nuances and there's different things you can take away from it. Even in the chat. Thanks everyone who turned up in the chat, by the way, and taking part in the conversation. It's good to get different perspectives because we all see something through one lens. It's good to see another.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There you go. Keep up to date with the channel. Follow Dale and her works. Her link to her page is in the description, and we'll do more of these in future. Definitely. Dale, you're more than welcome to come back again. We'll pick another movie.
Pick a movie this time, I think. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely up for doing this again. A lot of fun. And there we go, folks. Keep up to date. More in the future. And until next time, keep it creepy. Keep it horrific.